Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Mary Ajagbe, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are just listening to me for the very first time, you're welcome. And if you're a returning listener, thank you for staying with me and thank you for tracking with Mary. All right, yeah, so today is just really like easy, easy conversation. And I want to talk about something that I have come to realize, or something that I've come to see that a whole lot of us miss out on because of life and because we're adulting. And the title of my conversation, the title of my conversation, really? A conversation has a title? Well, this one does. um, so, yeah, the direction for my conversation today is, where is the child in you? Come close. Where's the child in you? Oh, goodness. Yeah, they actually came close. Well, so yeah, I was having a conversation. So I have a very beautiful and very smart niece, and she just says it as it is. She just says whatever it is that she's thinking without any form of shame whatsoever. And honestly, I feel like listening to her time and time again, there's always that. It's almost like I feel like, the Lord would literally be looking at me like, can you see that this is how we are to be like little children? Let the little children come to me, and it says that this is how you are to be if you're going to enter into the kingdom of heaven, right? And so I have, my niece just literally asks me really weird questions, but very intelligent questions, and she even causes me to ponder because, you know, what is it exactly about a child? Their nature is so pure, so beautiful, so present, so in the now, right? Okay, so this interesting conversation. So my niece comes into my room and she goes, "Oh, I've been thinking about my birthday." And so birthday is coming up in March. And so she goes, "I've been thinking about my birthday." And I'm like, okay. First off, before that, there was an interesting situation, an interesting thing that I saw. Notice that when we got into 2025, and I noticed that my niece would literally go to the door and open the door and start to have conversations like, "Oh, you brought the cake. Thank you so much." I'm like, what? Who does that? Some people might say, "Oh no, that's creepy." No, it's not. Get your mind out of wherever it is. This is not Delulu. But this is a true story. And there's so much wisdom to pick out from this, right? I mean, we'll laugh about it, but then I want you to flow with me, right? And so everybody in the house literally were just laughing like, this is just so weird and interesting. She would literally go to the door, open the door. In fact, she would knock on it, and we would think that somebody was actually knocking, not knowing that it was my niece that was at the door. She would knock on the door, open the door, and say, "Oh, so you've brought the cake. Oh wow, thank you so much. Oh, this is for me. Oh, thank you so much." And with such joy and expectancy, right, in her voice, in her demeanor, in every single thing, she opens that door. She did this for a couple of days back to back, and we're just like, this is very interesting. And then she comes into my room, right? And then she says to me how that, "Oh, I've been thinking about my birthday." I'm like, "Okay, what about your birthday have you been thinking about?" And she goes, "Oh, I just want a puppy." And I was saying to mom how I just want a puppy. I just want a puppy. I said, "What do you want to do with a puppy?" And she says, "Oh, I want to feed it. I want to nurture it. I want to take care of it. I want to this." And she went on and on. And I'm looking at first I was doing something, right? I was doing something. And so I'm like, anytime she comes in and I'm in that space to listen, literally, when I'm not caught up in one thing or the other, I'm like, okay, so yeah, I pay attention and I just listen to her. And sometimes I might be busy and she's talking, I'm like, and I'm like, pay attention to that child and listen to what she has to say. And so I would literally just drop whatever it is that I'm doing and pay attention. But this time, and so I'm listening to her as she's talking about how she wants a puppy and how she just wants to nurture the puppy and take care of the puppy and feed the puppy. And, she just went on and on and on. And interestingly, someone else would probably listen to that and bash the child, right? And say, what are you thinking about puppy? Sometimes the aggression of life that is life in us. But instead, what I did listening to her was, because beyond what she was saying was me hearing her say that I am a nurturer. I want to nurture. I love to nurture. I love to feed. I love to do this and take care of things, of living things. And so she's looking to get a puppy that she can take care of. And I'm looking at her, see all of these things, and I'm thinking to myself, this child is a nurturer. And so she's done saying whatever it is that she's saying, and she has this dreamy look on her face, like she's literally living in that world, and she's just in her own space, and she's seen the puppy, and she's living already with the puppy, and she's taking care of the puppy and all of that. And so I'm like, okay, so, and then we continue the conversation, and I'm saying to her, but why don't you speak to your grandpa? Your grandpa has like dogs and everything. She was like, oh, that one, how the dog was pregnant and she literally aborted the baby. Dogs can do that, and how that, so she just kept on saying, she had this look like, so I'm like, okay, don't worry, you get a puppy. And so I said to her, you know what, how about we just like tell God that you want a puppy? And so I said to her that, that whenever you ask your mom for a thing and you find out that mommy is not able to provide it right now, or you speak to dad and dad is not able to provide it right now, then I think you should be able to talk to God about it. In fact, I think you should talk to God first about it, and then tell God to provide for mommy and daddy to have, for you to be able to get a puppy that you can take care of and then nurture. And why am I sharing this conversation? Because this was like a very, very interesting thing that happened. And I'm looking at her talk about her birthday, and and I'm inspired. And that this is how, for a whole lot of us, we had dreams when we were growing up as children. We had things that we wanted to do. We believed so much, like we believed so much so that we literally didn't even see any negativity or even think of any limitations whatsoever when we were children, right? We just believed that whatever it is that we requested or that we asked for would be done. And then there is another category of people who, growing up, you never had the privilege to even be able to talk to dad or mom to ask for anything, and so you grew up not asking. You grew up with this sense of independence already, and this, should I even call it independence? Possibly, let's say that, right? You grew up with this sense of independence, and there's no need to bother, like there's no point asking, nobody cares. But God cares. God cares. And I had a childhood dream that I wanted to be a lawyer. And I remember that I had this picture in my mind where I would see my dad and my mom and my siblings would be there, and we would be having a conversation or something is going on. And the next thing you would hear, I can't remember how old I was now, but the next thing that I would say would be objection overruled, literally, so because everybody's talking and then their voices are going up, and then I just go objection overruled, and then I would just go objection sustained, so I don't even know where I picked that up from, but I just had this very strong desire as a child to just defend people. And so if anyone had asked me why I wanted to study law, I would talk about my sense of justice. I would talk about how I just wanted to defend the poor, defend the widows, and take care of them. And so these were the things that I was saying. I didn't even know how old I was then, but I was pretty young when I was saying this thing. But for some reason, I had I tried JAM. If you're in this part of the world, you would know that there is an examination that you have to take. You register for it, and then you take it. I took JAM about 5 times. I was never able to get law. We tried different means, and the thing was, I didn't want to go to College of Education. I didn't want to go to anything else. I didn't want to go anywhere else. I just wanted to go straight to the university. And so after 5 years, now in the course of the 5 years, of course, there were things that I was doing. I went to radio school, I went to computer school, so there was still like the upskilling and things that I was doing. I started to work, at a very young age. From like age 15, I started to work, and so I remember that all of these things, right, happened. And I mean, I couldn't study law, so I studied mass communications. I started to get into media, I got into media, and I mean, it's just a whole lot of, that's not the gist for today, right? But I'm currently still in school studying business management, so I'm like, from the person that wanted to study law. But I remember a training I was at this training, and they had asked us, what did you want to be when you were growing up? And isn't it interesting that usually when we ask that question, we are asking children, what do you want to be when you grow up? But in this training, the question that the facilitator was asking us, what did you want to be when you were a child? And in the room, literally everybody started talking about different things that they wanted to be in. And she started to, and with each person that would say what it was that they wanted to be, as a child, she would look at that person, and then she would begin to literally speak into them. And it got to my turn, and I was like, oh, I wanted to study law, and everything, but it didn't work out, and everything. And oh, so what are you studying now? I said, yeah, I said what I was studying at the time was mass communication. And so she goes, yeah, but do you understand that the sense of justice that you carried, it was not so much about the cause per se, but about what was tied to it, the motive and the drive behind that. It's still in you, it's not left. And the drive is to defend. The drive is that you have such a sense of justice to ensure that whatever it is that somebody is going through, you want to be able to find a solution. Like, nobody comes to Mary and lives the same way. And so my question to you is, where is that child? Where is that child on the inside of you? What happened to it? That child on the inside of you? I know that for some of you, you might have been shut down a lot while growing up. Say, well, you talk too much, just keep quiet. And then gradually, something new, something different was introduced to you. And you became quiet. You became a child that became quiet. You became one whose voice was silenced. And even though you can sense, and even though you can see and hear the Lord calling you out and beckoning on you to begin to speak, it's almost like you just keep hearing and seeing the voice, the person who it was that shut you down. It could have been your dad, it could have been your mom, it could have been people around you, or the people that you lived with growing up, or even your siblings. It could have just been even a teacher in school. Where is that child in you? That child is in there. And it almost feels like there's so many things that has locked that child on the inside in. And today I bring you good news, because that's what I do on my channel, right? I bring you good news that it is time for that child on the inside of you to rise again. It is time for that child to come out and begin to dream again, and begin to laugh again, and begin to love again, and begin to dance again. I know that things might have happened that has caused that child to hide and to shrink back. But my word for you today, and I believe what the Lord would also have me share today, is ask you, where is that child again? Let that child leave. Let that child on the inside of you come out. Let that child breathe. Give that child room. Give that child room and space to be, to breathe, to live, to evolve, to thrive, to heal, to be beautiful again, to enjoy life again. I hope that with this that I have shared today, you will make that decision to do the simple things, the things that made you happy as a child, the things that, without feeling encumbered by the weight of the world or feeling like you just got to shrink because you think that nobody wants to hear your voice. That is a lie. That is a lie from the pit of hell. And so I've come to share this word today to break you out of that, to break you out of that lie, to break you out of that cage that has held you bound for so long, and to bring you into a new light and a new perspective. Let that child out. Let that child live again. Let that child bloom. So there's something that I've loved to do as a child, and it is to dance. I love to dance as a child. I loved to dance as a child. Like, I got stories about how my mom would say that, she would be going out somewhere and she would have me on her back. And the moment we get to a place where music is, I would begin to dance. Literally, I would begin to shake and cry and, and just like, bring me down until she drops me, and I would dance until the music ends, and people would literally gather and watch. And every time she would say that to me, I would look at myself now and I would think of that. I would literally try to imagine that version of me and be like, what happened to you, Mary? Like, where did all that confidence go? Where did all of that belief go? Where did all of that strength and that authenticity and that freedom, where did all of that go to? What happened? And so it is time to let that child live again. It is time. It is time. So I'll give you a challenge for this week here. Why don't you try something that you've always wanted to do as a child? Something that you never got the chance to do. Why don't you try one thing? And also, I want you to put in the comments, what is that one thing you've always wanted to do as a child that you never got to do? I want you to put it in the comments, and I would love to read from you. I would love to hear it. So for me, I think I started to do some of the things that I've wanted to do as a child. I still have some things on my list that I never got to do. And, I just felt like, it wasn't anything. But, like, nah, it's something. Like, God really, wants you to live and live well. And He wants you to be able to breathe. So let's get on that challenge, right? So put it in the comments. Let me read from you. What is that one thing you've always wanted to do that you never got a chance to do? I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to reading your comments. And of course, that I'll definitely be in the comments waiting. And if you know that this has been a blessing and this is a blessing, please do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share to someone that you know needs to live again. They need to get that child out of them. If it is that you have to bounce on your bed, if it is that you have to dance, whatever it is that makes you feel just good, that makes you feel good, basically, do it this week. Challenge yourself to do it, right? Let that child in you live again. Allow that child to come up for air. It's time. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Love you. Bye.